It's the Russian dude, and I'm here. Sorry so much for waiting. So these unexpected delinquencies, unexpected things to settle before the live stream. But here I am, trying new different camera angle. Let me know how it works. Let me know if you can hear me first of all. Let me even do maybe some adjustments with the microphone and all this kind of stuff. But you know, that's like typical YouTuber stuff who is never prepared to do things, but that's just me, I guess. So just let me know how you can hear me. And that's all. That's all I'm gonna say, because we're gonna begin right now. Okay, I did some little thing. Hopefully you can hear me better right now. Just adjusting microphone, and yes, that's me. What's up? Sound is perfect. So perfect. Looks like we are live. Looks like we are going. Looks like we're Gucci. Let's go. What's up, Discord gang? Thanks so much for joining. This is our monthly charitable live stream, Sunday, October 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all so much for joining. We already have 260 people watching, so I hope you are having an incredible weekend. For those of you who are in the evenings of the Sundays, hope you had an extremely good weekend. And here it is. So the way this live stream goes, and you already know it, some of you who have been joining previously, you already know how it works. We will be talking basically about whatever was happening in Ukraine for the whole past month, like summary of the month, summary of the week, summary of the month, and mostly I will be answering your questions, and in the end we will be donating money. In the end we'll be donating money to Ukraine, and that's basically it. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Hello everyone, thanks so much. Hello Kripke, hello William Wilgen, hello Michael Vivchar, hello Maxim Arnaudo, hello Mark S, hello Ryan Kisniks. What's up everyone? Just final some warning. Let me know how's the sound, how's the video quality. Let me know all these things. If everything is good, we shall begin. So basically the whole month, and yeah, by the way, if you want to ask questions, because there are so many people in the chat, this is a good thing, obviously many people watching, but if you want your question to stand out, put in the beginning of, in your sentence, put like at the Russian dude. In this case, your message is highlighted for me, so obviously I can see it better. And those people who are channel members, your messages are always highlighted to me, so you don't even need to do this. So if you want to support the channel, if you want your messages to be always seen, please consider also becoming my channel member, all these kind of things, but that's basically how it goes. Okay, while we're warming up, okay, so sound good, video is good, perfect, everything is good. Thanks so much for confirming. I did some little less latency, so now we are kind of talking in the real life, so my delay is not as much, but okay. So 330 people are already watching. This is insane, but we shall begin. So this month, Russia, Ukraine, what happened? In the end of this month, and fortunately, to be honest, for Ukraine, nothing much was happening. Russia was not attacking, Russia was not invading, Russia was not capturing any land. There was some small minor fights happening here and there, but mostly what was concentrated on Russian-Ukrainian attention by the end of the week, it was that this major battle for Kherson is basically coming very soon. So everything is basically ready for this battle. And if you've been watching my last video, you already know the importance of this battle. It is because in case Russia loses it, and they obviously will, because they have newly recruits placed on the front lines versus experienced Ukrainian soldiers with months of real life combat experience, they're gonna be facing these newly recruits from Russia who were just mobilized less than a month ago, and so obviously they have no experience at all, and as soon as they feel this power of Ukrainians coming at them at full force, obviously, and especially taking into consideration that they have no absolute chances to retreat, all the major bridges from Kherson are either partially or completely destroyed. And those remaining bridges or pontoons, especially the ones which Russia is building all this time, every single time, Ukraine has these pontoons and river crossing under their HIMARS control. So for this reason, I think it is pretty obvious that those Russians remaining in the northern part of Kherson area, they're pretty much blocked, locked, surrounded, encircled, whatever you want to call it, in this area. and there's very little opportunities for them to retreat. They're inexperienced, and as soon as the Ukrainians start coming, this is when those Russians were like, okay, I just better give up. I'm not gonna be killed for somebody else's crazy wishes, so I'm just gonna give up. I'm gonna be a prisoner of war. Ukraine will treat me hopefully good. It's definitely gonna be at least much better than if I just go back to Russia or something like this, and as a deserter. So for this reason, what I'm saying is that most likely battle for Kherson will be won by Ukrainians, and after this will open them for Ukrainians other directions to liberate the south even more. Obviously, after Kherson, Russia will no longer be able to have this unanimous, or I call it, access to the Black Sea. Russia was also planning to invade, capture Odessa, Mykolaiv, and obviously as soon as Ukraine liberates Kherson, there'll be no way for Russians to capture those two cities, so Ukraine will have its access to the Black Sea. Then Russia will simply not be able to continue with its invasion to the south. Ukraine, it's like after Kherson is liberated, the only way to go after this is to continue liberating Kherson. And now we have some donations, looks like. Thanks so much, Natoya85 for $5. And then looks like another one is coming through. Thank you so much, Soggy Jungle. And now the message is gonna go through. So, not sure about Toronto, Soggy Jungle, thanks so much for $10, but there's one Ukrainian, I don't remember the full name, something like Barrel, I don't remember. In Etobicoke there is one Ukrainian restaurant, and this is so far the only Ukrainian restaurant I saw in Etobicoke. This is something like called Barrel, I don't remember, but I'm sure. Oh, and they'll have another one. Okay, so give me a second, Thomas Larson. Thanks so much, Thomas Larson, for 200 Swedish kronas. Back to Ukrainian restaurant. There is one in Etobicoke. Just put in Google Maps like a Ukrainian restaurant. I'm sure it will pop up and you will see it. I want to go there at least one time to see how's it, but I haven't been there yet. So there you go. And so yeah, long story short, as soon as Ukraine, thanks so much for the donations once again, first of all. As soon as Ukraine liberates Kherson, the only way for them is to continue liberating the south. And this is what they're going to do. They will continue liberating the south. After liberating Kherson, most likely the next direction for them will be to go right, to liberate Melitopol, Zaporozhye region, all these kind of things, obviously all these areas, all these territories. And eventually they will reach the southern borders of Donetsk region. So this is when most likely Ukrainians will kind of either slow down or temporarily stop, because Russians, obviously, they established a lot of defenses in Donetsk and Luhansk and Crimea. So we want it or not, but those territories will be the ones which will be protected a lot, obviously, by Russians. So for this reason, I expect, maybe not in the nearest future, but eventually, the next big chunk of war progress will be Ukraine liberating a lot of territories in the south. Once again, all the way to Crimea and all the way to the... Okay. Thanks so much, Merete Als, Ukraine. Thanks so much for 17 Danish kronas. And so yeah, all the territories to the north of Crimea and to the west of Donetsk region is what will be one of the next biggest chunks of territories in Ukraine which will be liberated. And then we do have counteroffensive in the east. This is my last piece of summary before we go to your questions. So get ready with your questions. We're going to be going through them very, very soon. So the next big, after southern liberation, the next big progress for Ukraine's counteroffensive will be in the east. And you already heard about this road, how it's called, okay, Manuel Araika. Thanks so much for Manuel Araika for $5. Coffee time indeed. Yes, if you're drinking coffee, enjoy it. It's very good drink. So yeah, in the east, Ukrainians are already advancing, and some reports already claim, it's not like some reports, Sergei Gaidai, the leader of Luhansk region, he's Ukrainian. He already says that Ukraine already practically has the control over Svatovo-Kremina area and this Svatovo-Kremina road, which basically means what? Exactly. This road, which Russians uses to resupply themselves in Lysychansk and Severodonetsk, is to be one of the most important resupply logistic line for Russians in this entire eastern part of Ukraine. And so Ukraine practically controls it, and as soon as they officially control it, is going to be when general staff of Ukraine says like, okay, we recognize this, now it's real, now you can release the information, now you can release the photos, pictures, and this is when this information will be official. As for now, this is practically, this is theoretically, this pretty much already happened, we're just waiting for the official confirmation. Yes, and this is how I'm pointing out with my fingers, with my hands, like, no, I don't have any Italian heritage. I'm just very expressive with my hands, I'm assuming. But that's how it goes. So this is what's happening right now in Ukraine. And right now, I think it was, if you have any questions, okay, now, and $10 from Natoya85. Thanks so much, Natoya85, for $10. I really appreciate this. Thanks so much for your support. So this was your quick summary of the most recent couple of weeks in the Russian-Ukrainian war. And so right now, if you have any more questions, it does not need necessarily be related to Russian-Ukrainian war. You can ask pretty much any questions you want. So once again, if you are asking questions, if you want me to see your questions like better, so it's like highlighted to me, you can do it either through 3 different methods. So first method is once again doing this super chat. As you can see, those people who are donating money, their messages, they show up on the screen for me. There's a sound notification. So this is the sure way for me to hear this. Okay, Lucky One, thank you so much for $2, Lucky One. I appreciate it a lot. So the first way for me to 100% see your question is through donations. This greatly helps the channel. Okay, now another one. Thank you so much, Nissan1. Oh no, you asked me not to thank you, so Nissan1, shout out to you then. I'm not thanking you, just giving you a shout out. So the best way, yes, the best way is to do through donations. This greatly helps the channel because some of my videos get very low monetization for absolutely unknown reason. I think you heard this from Jake Bro, Denis Davidov. There's some random demonetization happening in this specific industry on YouTube. But still, I'm not complaining. Obviously, no way I'm complaining. I'm just saying this, stating it as a fact. The first way to definitely for me to see your messages is through these super chats. I will 100% see your message, and this is the way to support the channel. Second way is to use @TheRussianDude in the message. This highlights the message for me temporarily while I see it on the screen, and this is how I'm gonna see your question once again as well. And the third option is to be a channel member. Every single channel member, whenever they ask questions in the chat, every question is highlighted for me, so I definitely see all the questions that are written by channel members. Okay, and now let's see if there are some more questions. Okay, now we have... Okay, Cindy Mitchell, thanks so much, Canadian veteran. Thanks so much for your service. Thanks so much for the $20, Cindy. I really appreciate this, so thanks so much for your support. Okay, so now let's see some questions. I'll be answering now questions from you guys, so feel free to ask me anything you want, basically. Okay, so Protagonist is saying, you are doing great, take a deep breath. Thanks so much. Here's your deep breath incoming. Whew. Yeah, 13 minutes non-stop monologue. I really needed it. So thanks so much, Protagonist, for breaking this unstoppable pace. Okay, now we have. Thank you so much, Blue Eyes 58, for your 10 euros. Slava Ukraini, Heroям Slava, freedom to Russia. Thanks so much for your support, Blue Eyes 58. Thanks so much. Okay, so when do you think war will last? Is asked by Oguzhan Agjun. Sorry if I'm butchering your names, but the war will last most certainly until the end of this year, because right now it's already the beginning of November, like a couple of days in October, obviously. So it will obviously last all the way until, until the end of this year, because Ukraine is on this beginning their southern counteroffensive. So they will need to retake lands in the south, they will need to retake lands in the east. And in the winter, obviously, it will be cold, so maybe, most likely, the counteroffensive, the whole activity in Ukraine will slow down, because obviously it's cold, soldiers will need to spend more time, I don't know, like not being at war, warming themselves up, looking for provisions, looking for food, having like warm places to stay, things like this. So most likely in winter the whole war will slow down. Before winter, I'm almost certain that there will be some extremely good news from Ukraine, which is either gonna be a liberation of a big chunk in the south or a big chunk in the east, maybe both. And then whenever it starts to warm up again, it will still be more or less slow, I'm assuming, in the spring, because whenever the spring is a rainy season, same as fall, it's a lot of rain in Ukraine and Russia. So a lot of mud, a lot of vehicles will be very slow because it's so hard to drive in a several tons tank through a mud, so you'll just simply get stuck. So for this reason, in spring, the counteroffensive of Ukraine will resume, but not as much all the way until summer. And so maybe summer 23 is when we're gonna have significant progress. So my best assumption, don't quote me on this, but my best assumption, something very good is gonna happen like summer of next year. Unfortunately for Ukraine, it's too long, but who knows. Okay, and now I have another one. Thanks so much, Nathan wrote for $20. Yes, I try to stay away from. So okay, now I'll be back to this question. Give me a second. Okay, so thanks so much, Natoya85 for $5 as well. And now I'm really thankful, truly appreciate it. Thanks so much. But now let's get back to this grain question. So I try to stay away from social media on the weekends, but I still saw this thing that yes, Russia wants to back from this deal. They most likely already did it, all this kind of stuff. So because they're like, whoa, we are giving the security for Ukrainian ships in the Black Sea, Ukrainians still attack our targets, it's not fair, so no, the deal is off, blah blah blah, all these kind of things. So for Ukraine, obviously, at this very moment, a lot of their infrastructure is destroyed, especially energy infrastructure. There are severe energy shutdowns. People don't have electricity at night because the whole country is saving as much energy, electricity as possible. So, and obviously a lot of money right now goes towards defense budget. A lot of money will be needed in the future for reconstruction. So Ukraine needs every single dollar they can get. So for this reason, whenever they're exporting wheat to at least several countries, at least partially what they used to do before the war, this was obviously extremely good for them because every single dollar once again counts. So for the and Ukraine, if you know, Ukraine is one of the biggest exporters of wheat. So Russia trying to shut down this deal completely will leave Ukraine with without a big chunk of money. Unfortunately, that's not very good for Ukraine. But at the same time, we have almost never-ending support from USA, from America, who is announcing their like $200–300 million support packages to Ukraine almost like every couple of weeks. So in this case, I'm assuming that Ukraine will not be left hanging without no weapons, no artillery, no ammunition, no vehicles, no nothing like this. Most likely countries and different countries, especially America, will continue supporting Ukraine. But in terms of food and energy, it will be most likely a very tough winter for Ukrainians. Especially a lot of people there don't work right now because their businesses, the actual businesses, the buildings are either destroyed or maybe the business is not considered to be essential, so they temporarily shut it down. So for this reason, it will be very hard winter for Ukrainians, but it's a northern country, so people used to winters. So they'll get through. Ukrainian people are extremely strong people, extremely willful people. So Ukrainian people will get through this winter 100%. And this will give them additional motivation to come back at Russians as soon as winter is over at twice harder. Because most certainly they wouldn't want to go through another winter once again, so it will be their additional motivation to repel Russians before the beginning of the next second winter. Okay, so for this reason, yeah, long story short, to sum it all up, the deal is unfortunately very important for Ukraine. They will still obviously be getting the support from America and other countries, so, but yeah, like this $100 million that potentially they're gonna lose is gonna hurt them, unfortunately, so it's not ideal. Okay, now let me see some more questions. So feel free, once again, if you're either use super chat or become a channel member or use @TheRussianDude in your message, so the message is highlighted for me so I can see it. Sorry for not replying, sorry for focusing maybe so much on every single particular question. I will scroll up a little bit right now to see if I can if I can answer some questions that were in the past. So okay, the question is by Les. Why northern countries like Canada, Finland and so on do not develop armed vehicles adapted to winter weather? Well, I think they do. It's not like maybe there's much difference between winter vehicle or like summer vehicle. The only thing you might need is like, like this winter tires if the vehicle is using tires. Because for tank, they have, I have no idea how this thing is called. Okay, thanks so much, Peter Azizi, for $5. Thanks so much, Peter. So the only difference is the winter tires, they have this like metal spikes, but if it's a tank, I would say it does not matter for a tank. If it's a winter or summer, it can still go through the almost any terrain possible. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not military engineer or anything like this, so sorry if I cannot answer this question in much details for you, Lisa. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we have a question from Peter Azizi. Could we expect an offensive into Zaporozhye to encircle the entire Kherson Oblast? So this will be incredibly good if this happens, Azizi. But Peter, but maybe not right now, because now it's still on the other side of Dnipro River, and Ukraine right now is mainly focusing in the southern part of Ukraine, like specifically Kherson, and in the east, specifically like Svatove Kremin, like Middle East, approximately of Ukraine, and the southern part, like southern, because the Zaporozhye region is obviously between south and east. So for this reason, I don't see, at least personally, I don't see a lot of activity from Ukrainians in that specific region. It's like, just they're holding their ground. Both countries, they just hold their ground in the Zaporozhye region, known as advancing. There are some provocations in the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, but basically that's all there is to it. As for now, there's not too much activity going on there. And obviously, if Ukrainians or Russians are planning to do something in this specific region, we will not know it until it obviously starts to happen, because these are military secrets. This is the strategy, this is the tactics, so obviously regular people like us will not know what's going on, what's going to happen, and things like this. So we'll be the last ones to know. And now let's see if you have any more questions. Hopefully this answers your questions, Peter. Okay, so Mr. ML Hardin. Do you think Russia will do something to force NATO and USA into the war? So Russia is doing already something to force them into the war, but those countries, NATO countries, America, also part of NATO, they just don't follow through on these provocations, because they know as soon as they do something physical into this war, it means that that's it. Now they're actually involved in this war, which kinda gives Russia more excuses to be more ruthless, to use maybe even some more dangerous weapons of like mass destruction, things like this. So for this reason, these countries, like, they want to help Ukraine, but unfortunately for them, unfortunately for Ukraine, once again, as soon as they physically are into this war, this just gives more opportunities, more excuses to Russia to be even more ruthless, I guess that's the word in English, correct? So for this reason, I think most likely, unless the situation is actually critical, those countries will not join the war. They'll just continue supporting Ukraine as they support right now, just by sending military vehicles, military weapons, ammunition, doing support packages, doing more sanctions against Russia. So most likely that's how it's gonna be all the way until the end. They will do everything possible, or at least they will try to do everything possible in their power to help Ukraine win by itself with the money from other Western countries. That's what I think. Okay, now let's see. Sassy Baka Gaming. What do you think about using seized Russian assets of around 650 billion to rebuild Ukraine? Well, that's what they're talking about. That's what Ukrainian authorities, Ukrainian government is talking about all the time. So they are already seizing the assets. If I'm not mistaken, in the very beginning of this war, America froze Russian golden reserves in their own, in the American. I just forget the words right now, but long story short, America froze Russian gold reserves that Russia kept in America, something like this. I know there is a specific word for this, I just cannot think of this right now, and I don't want to create awkward silence of 1 minute of me just doing whatever. Long story short, yes, it's already happening, and that's what Ukraine is saying that they want to do. They want to use this money to basically help themselves, to help Ukraine rebuild themselves, something what's called reparations. Okay, thanks so much Simon Shorthouse for $10. I remember you, Simon. You are the one who is leaving a lot of comments under my videos. So thanks so much, Simon, for showing up on the stream, first of all. Thanks so much for $10, and thanks so much for your question. And now let's see. Kherson might be a trap, is what you're saying. Technically, yes, because, like, you know, if every single thing that both Russia and Ukraine says is 100% true, this will mean, like, what's the point of strategizing, what's the point of developing military tactics if basically you cannot have, like, some secrets, if you cannot have some unexpected attacks, unexpected events. So yes, it might be a trap, but let's be realistic. In the very beginning, when Russia tried to advance with all the power, all the forces that they had, with all the training that they had, and Ukrainians were caught by complete surprise in the very beginning. And Russia still was not able to advance as far as they wanted. They wanted to capture Kyiv in like 2-3 days. They never did it, obviously. And so even whenever at that time, when soldiers were prepared, when Russia had all the weapons, when Russia had all the military vehicles, when Russia had all the opportunities to do what they wanted to do as much and as fast as they can, and just give me a second here. Okay, thanks so much, Harry Evasuk, for $7 Canadian. Obviously, it's my pleasure doing this coverage for you. And Lila, somebody is saying that I should thank you for letting me do these live streams on the weekend. So, thank you, Lila. So she says, you're welcome. So yes, long story short, now back to Kherson. Back to Kherson. Long story short, where was I? So yeah, in the very beginning, Russia had all the power, Russia had all the vehicles, all the weapons, all the ammunition, and they still was not able to do it. Right now, the losses are at what, 70,000? The last reported number is like 70,000. Majority of Russian soldiers right now are the ones who were recently recruited, or the ones who are not supposed to go maybe to Ukraine, the ones who are definitely not the best of the best. Some of them maybe are good soldiers, but majority of the chunk, this biggest chunk of Russian soldiers right now, are the ones like not ideal, let's say, so they're not good soldiers. And in the meantime, Ukrainians, there is very big part of them who are fighting in this war all the way since the beginning, and they have so much combat experience right now. So what do we have in Kherson? We have those inexperienced people facing those almost combat veterans of Ukraine who are facing them in Kherson. And now, Lapiland54, thanks so much for $14 Canadian. So, and then what happens in Kherson? Those Russians, they will most certainly not be able to hold off those approaching Ukrainians. And it's not just Kherson, it's pretty much everywhere around Ukraine. Ukrainians have much better training. They have those veterans who already have experience in the combats. They have the support from the Western countries, NATO, America. They have much better equipment. They have access to much more inventory of the equipment. So Russians are depleting their inventories. There's like what, 30, 40, in some cases 20% of the ammunition of the missiles, what is left. And Ukrainians can always hopefully get more missiles, more bullets from America, from Western world. So most likely, eventually, it's not in the favor of Russia to hold this war for longer than it is right now. So Ukraine will only get more powerful than it is right now, and the longer the war goes on, the more chances of Ukraine at winning this war. And right now they are already have like, I don't know, 90% chance of winning, because good always beats evil. I hope this answers your question. Sometimes I might get lost in my thoughts, but it is what it is. Okay, now let's see. Lapiland, fan and subscriber since February, before February. Keep doing good. Okay, thank you so much, Lapiland. Thanks so much for your long-lasting support. Thank you so much, Lapiland. Now, thank you, Pranas Baluka, for $1. Thank you so much for your donation. Thanks so much for your support, Pranas. Okay, let's see more questions. Couple more questions, and then we will go to some donations. Canada, Ukraine, Canada. Thanks so much, Dan Freeman, for $5. Thanks so much. Don't worry, you're late to this live stream or too early. It's always here. The recording will be available after the live stream, so don't worry, you're just on time. And thanks so much, Dan Freeman, for your $5 Canadian support. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Okay, let's see some more questions really quick, and then we might do donations. I might get you to go a little bit early today. We'll see how it goes. It's Sunday, it's the Sunday evening. You still want to do something, watch some Netflix maybe, or things like this. So I might let you go today a little bit earlier than it is. But let's see some more questions to begin with. Okay, so we have a question from Toby Hall. Okay, and now we have another one. Okay, so we have David Archibald, who is a member for 3 months. Stay strong, Artyom. Russians still rock. Well, the ones I know anyway. Yes, thanks so much, David. Thanks so much for the support, David. Thanks so much for becoming my channel member for 3 months straight. You already have this cool green badge next to your name. So yeah, every time you're writing something in the videos, in the live stream, I always see your comments. Thanks so much, David Archibald. And I do see your comments. You're also one of these guys, one of these girls, one of these gals, one of these viewers or investors who is always writing a comment under almost every single video I make. So thanks so much for your continuous support, David Archibald. It means a lot. Thanks so much. Okay, so and now let's see some more questions. I saw some good ones. Let's see. Toby Hall. Are there any English content Russian YouTubers who you would particularly recommend? Are there any English content Russian YouTubers that you think are wolves in sheep's clothing? So, not sure if there are any first of all, not sure there are any Russian YouTubers who do content in English who actually praise the war, because not too many Russian YouTubers who do content in Russian, they support the war. So let alone obviously there are some Russians who make content in English who support the war, but they're like not that big, not famous, not significant. I guess they do not have maybe too much following or anything like this. And I guess one of the reasons is because they support the war, which is the last thing you want to do right now as a Russian. For this reason, I don't know any people like this, but But if there are any Russian YouTubers who do, let me see the question once again. English content Russian YouTubers who I think particularly recommend. Oh my God, what just happened? Miles McCaskill, thanks so much for $10. Yep, I do got some Timmys from time to time, so yeah, thanks so much. What? Here is our David Moyers, the biggest supporter of every live stream with $200 donation. David Moyers, every single live stream you make me speechless, and you just did exactly the same right now once again. So thank you so much. Well, let me hear once again next one. Yeah. Hello Revenge, thanks so much for $31. David Moyers, I will get back to your question, just let me answer this one really quick. Thank you so much Revenge, $31. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the community, welcome to the live stream, and thanks so much for your support. We are an extremely good group of guys, group of people, group of girls, group of everyone, group of persons here, I would say. So welcome Revenge. You will be loved in this community, so hopefully you stay there as long as possible. Okay, now back to the question of David Moyers, who is saying that his sponsored Ukrainian family is arriving in January. Yes, this guy and his wife, they are doing incredible job. Just David Moyers is your, he is the people, like he's the person that everyone should be. He is the one who is supporting the channel so much all the time. He is hosting Ukrainian family, giving them, like, I'm not sure exactly what you're doing, but long story short, he is bringing Ukrainians inside the country for them to basically escape the war, giving him housing, giving him like recommendations, like housing Ukrainian refugees, and this is just truly incredible. I'm donating money. I kind of feel like I'm doing some small part in this Russian-Ukrainian war, but it's not even close to what David Moyers and his wife, if I'm not mistaken, Alison, please don't hate me if I remember her name wrong, but I think it was Alison Moyers. Please don't unsubscribe if I say it wrong. Long story short, these are truly incredible people. So thanks so much, David. Thanks so much, Moyers family, for all you do for Ukrainians. This is real help. You host real people. This is just insane. And this is like, from the bottom of every Ukrainian heart, we thank you so much for your work, for your dedication, for your support, David. Thanks so much. And now, how about my Ukrainian family? So for those of you who are maybe for the very first time here, yes, I am Russian. I saw this question, by the way, from time to time. It's one of the most popular questions, to be honest. Am I Russian? Yes, I am Russian. I can guess you can hear my accent, so all the questions must be not anymore from this. And now we have Scott Radetsky for $50. Thanks so much, Scott Radetsky. $50. Okay, so donations get ridiculously big, so which puts me off course. So no, what is this? Pomonabilia, yes, you are also Pomonabilia 220. You are also one of these people who always comments on almost every single video. Thanks so much for $100. You are doing fantastic job supporting, like, with these crazy triple-digit numbers. So thanks so much, Pomonabilia 220, for your support as always. It's a pleasure seeing you here in the comments. So thank you so much. And now, Damian Da Silva, thank you also so much for $7. Героям слава, слава Ukraine, thanks for watching my live streams, for watching the videos. Love from Canada as well. Well, I am in Canada right now, so back to the Ukrainian family situation. So yes, for those of you, yes, I am Russian. But the reason why I support Ukraine so much, because it's the right thing to do, obviously. How can you support invaders? How can you support terrorists? I mean, Russia is not a terrorist. The terrorists are the people who make those decisions to invade the country, to bomb the civilian objects, to destroy infrastructure, civilian infrastructure. These are the terrorists. One of the responsibilities of my YouTube videos, of my YouTube work in general, is to, besides provide people who watch my videos, like you guys obviously, with the information, and well, we have Kevin B, finally we have moderator. I'm sorry for giving you a heads up too late, Kevin, but thank you for showing up. Okay, so one of my responsibilities, besides updating you guys on what's happening, because I know sometimes it's so hard to keep track, because like I'm going through hundreds of news every single day just to make this 8-9 minute video, and this takes obviously the whole day. So now we have, thanks so much, Super Bonker 9000 for $20. Slava Ukraini, Heroям Slava. Thanks so much for your support. So long story short, instead of you going through the news for the whole day, you can just watch my video, which obviously, since you're here, this is what you do. And instead of spending several hours to know what's going on, because sometimes there's so much like news that you spend 10 minutes reading and they're not that significant. And so instead of you doing this, I am doing this for you. I create the video, I create the visuals, put some footage, put some supporting arguments through screenshots of the articles, and that's it. In 8, 9, 10 minutes, you are already caught up on what happened during that specific day, and you just do it once again in like 10 minutes or less, instead of spending pretty much your whole day of researching and reading the articles, reading through the news. So this is the first responsibility. And the second one, because Russians are obviously not every single Russian is bad. I hope that at least more than half of people who are watching me do not consider me as a bad Russian, because once again, that's one of my responsibilities on YouTube, is to show people that not every single Russian is bad. We do have people with our own free will, with our own unplagued, uncorrupted minds with the Russian propaganda, with the ridiculous Russian propaganda, which for some reason I kind of cut this segment from most of my videos recently, but it will be back eventually, so don't worry. So one of the responsibilities is to show that it's not Russia who is bad, it's the Russian authorities, Russian people who make those decisions. Those are the people you should blame. There are so many regular Russians who struggle, maybe not as much as Ukrainians, because Ukrainians are obviously directly struggling with this war. Their houses get destroyed, their family members, their friends getting killed. So yes, Russians unfortunately cannot complain like Ukrainians do, because Russians are not getting killed except those soldiers who are sent in Ukraine. But there are so many just regular Russians who still feel the consequence of this war. Young generation, older generation, Thanks so much, Jockey, for 100 British pounds. Thanks so much. And yeah, that's why I'm called the Russian Dude, Jockey. So yes, every single time there are new people watching, so now you know why I'm called the Russian Dude. And now we have Revenge, who previously gave some money, who donated some money, and now she became, I'm assuming you're she, because you have the girl in the picture, so correct me if I'm wrong. So, and now you became the channel member, so welcome, Revenge. And so yes, sorry for maybe disrupting my monologue like this unexpectedly, but back to... So many Russians, regular Russians, are facing the consequences every single day, like sanctions, the food prices also go up, people just cannot leave the country, people who, let's say, so who have their family members outside of Russia, residents of different countries, and those people who are still in Russia, they cannot get visas to these countries, so they cannot see their family members. Kids cannot meet their parents, parents cannot see their kids. And so once again, it's nothing in comparison to what Ukraine is going through. But still, there are so many Russians who face extreme difficulties because of decisions of some couple very stupid people who pretend to be smart, who pretend to be knowing what they're doing, who pretend to be saviors of the world. But because of these people, regular Russian people struggle a lot as well. Exactly, Cliff Mitchell. Exactly. So thanks so much, Cliff, for $20. So thank you, Aaron Shelbert, for $20 as well. Thanks so much, you two guys, for $20. Incredible. Appreciate the support. And yes, back to Cliff. Exactly. Many Russians are poorly informed. Russia is trying to shut down all the Western sources of information, like Google News is restricted, Instagram is also inaccessible without VPN. There are talks about banning YouTube, all these kind of things. So in Russians, they just get less and less information available. And the only information which will always be readily available for Russians is the information presented by the government of Russia. And obviously, Russian government will not allow anything anti-Russian to be presented to the people of Russia. So for this reason, yes, it's the Russian propaganda, it's how propaganda works. The longer you're exposed to propaganda, the more likely you'll start believing it. If the person is pretty smart, educated, if the person was traveling around the world, it's going to be very hard to break such person, to submit this person into Russian propaganda. So what I mean by that is that for some people it takes 1 week to be completely turned around and to become the supporter of Russian government. For other people it takes years. But if you're exposed to only one side of the story all the time, 24/7, and especially when your friends, when your family members start believing this propaganda and they start propagandizing you as well at the same time, so once again, more and more people become submissive to this propaganda, and that's how it is. And it's very hard to escape because, once again, visas are very hard to get. Very many, many of the visas are getting disapproved, not approved, or whatever is the word. Not approved, yes. So for this reason, yes, Russians cannot maybe complain as much as Ukrainians, but we're still not in the perfect country right now. We kinda never were in the perfect country, but now, okay. Oh my God. So yeah, I understand what you said about the Kherson dam. If they destroy it, it can flood some Kherson regions. But this will be last case scenario. This will be this difficult decision if they start retreating, and this is what they might do, obviously. And yeah, am I Gopnik today? Well, you tell me if I'm wearing Adidas and having Russian accent. Am I Gopnik? I guess yes. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and then we have Thanks so much, Elaine Carlson, for 100 Swedish kronas. So, how deeply rooted the idea of Ruski Mir? Well, it might be, once again, coming back to propaganda, it's getting deeper and deeper into minds of Russians. But at the same time, they kind of see, because on the one hand, we have Russian propaganda which continuously poisons the minds of Russians. And at the same time, so yes, the first stage is to resist the propaganda, think, oh, it's stupid. And then many people around you, your friends, relatives, they start saying the same things which they say on TV. And this is when you start questioning yourself. Hey, maybe it's me who has the wrong idea about the whole thing that's going on. Maybe they are right. And so this is the second stage. And the last stage is whenever, that's it, you are fully converted to be the supporter of Russian government, supporter of Putin. And then you see that, okay, so he promises me a good life. He promises me cheap groceries. He promises me that everyone will respect Russians in the world. He promises me so many good things, so why it's only getting worse? And so this is exactly the moment when even the patriots start converting back and start not becoming like not supporting Putin maybe, but be like, okay, so the guy is lying to me, like it's already been like 20 years with him, and he always promises me this, he always promises me that, and then 20-25 years later nothing changed, it's only worse now than it used to be. So in this case, people will be like, okay, so maybe propaganda is propaganda. So yeah, that's what I think. So yes, please don't consider every single Russian you meet as a bad Russian. I know that most people who... Okay, Jockey Wilson became a legendary member. Thanks so much, Jockey Mac Wilson. Legendary member is truly legendary. Okay, so please, guys, don't consider Russians to be bad people. So as much voice on this platform as I have, presenting right now in front of 650 people, so I ask you to know that not every single Russian is bad. We have many great people. Unfortunately, like good Russians, they might show their anti-position, anti-support. They might show that they're not supporting Putin, not supporting government in some way or another. But trust me, hundreds, thousands of good Russians, millions of us, we do not support government, we do not support whatever decisions Putin is making, but so many of us are afraid to show this position. And yes, it might be on them, because like what? Because you do not support Putin, but you don't do anything about this, that's why he's still in power. So yes, that's some truth to this as well. But it is scary to go against Putin. He might not be as scary as he used to be before the war, because now Ukraine, one of the greatest achievements of Ukraine is that they proved the rest of the world that Putin is not as scary, Russia is not as scary as a country of like leaders and politicians. So this is one of the greatest achievements of Ukraine. But still people are afraid, because you've seen this, yes? Whenever the partial mobilization was announced, people went on the streets for like what? Less than 1-2 weeks, and that's it. After this, there was almost not a single protest after this. In Dagestan, there was some good protest happening for like literally 2 days, and now not a single word of it. That's it, like people like gave up. Because what happens is that for the last 20 years, every single time there are protests about rigged elections, about some bad laws, about some this, that. We want another president, like protests like this. All of these protests were completely shattered in like 1 day or less. People were sent to jail. Propaganda was showing on TV the big images of those people in jail, of those people struggling. They were showing the pictures, videos of those people apologizing on camera. And this is what for 20 years it's been shown like this for 20 years. So that future people who want to protest, they'll be like, okay, so what's the point? Like, I'm not gonna achieve anything. People tried to do this 20 years before me, no one achieved anything, and this is how they think. So yes, there is some kind of blame to this mindset, but believe me, it's extremely hard to break through this mindset. In normal country, in Western world, it's already hard maybe in some way to start a protest. Even though you know that majority countries like Western countries like Canada, America, they in some way allow protests like this to just happen and they don't intervene, they let them do what they want to do. And in most cases, they don't beat the protesters, they don't send them to jail, every single one of them. So in this case, it's already, you know how hard it is to start the process. Just think about yourself, whichever country you are right now, will you just start a protest, I don't know, like in the months from now? Some of you might, but it's just complicated. Now imagine you're in Russia with the government like Putin, with our government officials, so it becomes extremely even more harder than it needs to be. People just simply cannot express their free will, freedom of speech. They cannot express any other idea except the one which is social, except the one which is accepted by the government, of which was established by Putin throughout his 20 years of his political career. So for this reason, once again, like, you cannot fully blame people like this, but just believe me, there are many good, decent Russians, a lot of us, millions of us, who are just not feeling comfortable to speak out against the government, who are afraid. But believe me, if some big things are starting to happen inside Russia, this will be a very big like chain reaction of events. This will be like how it's called, like the chain reaction, yeah, let's call it like this. So these people will pick up quickly and hopefully one day Russia will achieve its freedom. Okay, let's see some more questions, and I think we can start donating soon. So we can start donating soon. You say you donate to Ukraine, says Neti5129. Can you explain which organizations or where you direct the money? So in the past, in the very beginning, I was giving money to the Red Cross. And then previous month, I gave money to the United 24, which is the initiative by President Zelensky. And the guy, you know Zelensky, he created this United 24, you can just Google it, United 24. And this is the money goes directly to the National Bank of Ukraine, and from this place, this money distributed into 3 different directions. So let me see, I will explain a little bit more right now. I see some donations coming through, let me answer. Okay, so Red Cross sucks, seriously. So yeah, I only donated once there, so well, I donated, so my job is done here in some way. But long story short, okay, now it's coming through. Thanks so much, Petra Olsen, for 129 Swedish kronas. Thanks so much, Petra Olsen, for your support. I really appreciate it. So thanks so much, Petra. And then, okay, and then another one. Yeah, thanks so much, Damien Da Silva, for 14 Canadian dollar. Thanks so much. And yeah, women are the ones who tried in Dagestan. These were one of the ones who initiated this big protest in Dagestan were the women, because yes, their sons are taken to the war against their will. Their husbands are taken, their fathers are taken to this war against their will, because mobilization and war training, military training in Russia is mandatory. You cannot escape it. It's not like you go there voluntarily. And even if you go there voluntarily, you are forced as a volunteer to go to places like Ukraine and everything. But yeah, United 24, yeah. United 24 is the place where I donated last month, in addition to my regular monthly donations. And what they do, the money goes directly to the bank, National Bank of Ukraine, and from there they distributed it to 3 different places. The first one is the Rebuild Ukraine. This is the money will be used to, well, it's self-explanatory, to rebuild Ukraine. The second place will be to, to the military support, to buy weapons, to buy drones, to buy bullets, to buy ammunition and all this kind of stuff. And the third it goes to the like humanitarian support. So it's like doctors, nurses to help kids like study through the war, like some PTSD, like counseling and all this kind of stuff. And so I was selecting humanitarian support because I don't want to, even if it's maybe for the right cause, I don't want to send money to for Ukrainians to buy weapons, because these weapons will be used to obviously target Russians, and some of these Russian soldiers might be, most of them will be against their will in Ukraine, so they will be there just because some general sitting in Moscow in his warm, cozy office eating caviar with vodka, who said, you just go take Kherson, I don't care. And those Russians who are just soldiers will be killed because of me donating some money. So, and then in another case scenario, if Russians capture those weapons which Ukraine bought for themselves, these weapons might be used to once again target Ukrainians. So it's like, it's not even worse, but it's equally as bad because this will be directly involved in destroying human life. So for this reason, I just stick with humanitarian support. This is where I donated last month, but my regular routine donation every single month goes, thanks to you, to my Ukrainian family. So I was speaking today, the situation is stable right now. They hear some explosions from time to time, almost weekly. The closest interaction with the explosives they had last two weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a missile intercepted above the house, and the missile debris fell like literally 100 meters away from the house. So this was the closest interaction, some stories from my Ukrainian family. Another story is that the locals where they live, they mine the forest where they live close to them, but all the locals, they already know where these mines are. These mines are mainly for Russians, if there are some Russian partisans are trying, so locals are aware about these mines in the forest, so they try to be very careful when they go, or they just don't go into forest at all. And we have Carla Corcoran for $10, so thanks so much, Carla. And so long story short, yes, there are mines in the forest next to them, some missiles are being intercepted, they hear these Shahid drones which sound like moped, like scooters or whatever you call them. So all this is happening. The electricity, food prices are almost twice the price. The work situation is very complicated. Some of them work part-time, some of them lost their jobs, sources of income, and the closest big city for them is far, so it is a little bit of luxury to own a car for them. So for this reason, some of them, they don't have the car, and if they want to go to work, they have to take either a bus or a taxi. And because of the war, because of constant shelling, buses are not as regularly anymore. So the only way for them to go to a big city to work is to take a taxi. But taxis are obviously not cheap, so people basically, they will have to work and give a lot of their income just to pay for the taxi. So long story short, this money that we are sending them, money we're collecting together as a community here on YouTube, we send them to Ukraine every single month, for those of you who just joined for the very first time on this live stream. And this is where every single month the money, the donation to Ukraine goes. So thank you for letting me do this. Thank you for letting me do this in two ways. First of all, thank you for sending me the money, subscribing on Patreon, subscribing on YouTube. The first thank you. And the second thank you is thank you for letting me use this money to support my family. So so far so good. No one is injured, everyone is alive. Thanks God, hopefully stays the same. And money right now is really important for them, and it couldn't be possible without you. So thanks so much. And yes, if you want to join my Patreon, if you want to join my YouTube channel, any kind of support, any means of support is extremely going to be appreciated a lot. But just you watching these videos, spreading the news, sharing these videos with your friends is also way more than enough of a support that you can get. This is truly incredible what can be achieved on this YouTube as a platform. So thank you all so much, guys, for this support. Okay, so I guess maybe it's a good time going to be to donate right now. And you know, in this case, whenever I'm donating, it's always cringely silent. So for this reason, I apologize in advance. And I see Kevin Kevin in the chat, like start some communications in the chat, I guess. Let's start a topic in the chat. So feel free to talk right now around yourself, guys. Right now I will donate money and then I show you the, how it's called, the confirmation page. And yeah, by the way, oh, and then another 100 Danish crowns from Martin Andersen. So yeah, before we go to donate, let me show you my Patreon, because you might still be on time for this month's or next month's donation. So Patreon is the money which are given mainly to Ukraine. And so this is like, it's like win-win situation. I have my Patreon, it's the one which I'm always promoting in my videos. So by subscribing to my Patreon, which can be as little as like $4 per month, which is for Ukrainians, it is a very good money. And so besides supporting Ukraine by subscribing to Patreon, you also get access to all the extra footage that I find every single day. Now we have $5 from Dan Freeman. No, thank you so much, Dan Freeman. All good. Thanks so much for $5. Yes, so thanks so much. All good. Don't worry, buddy. Okay, so now let's uninterrupted, I would say. So yeah, Patreon. Yeah, okay, Patreon. Besides, let me even share my screen if I still remember how to do it. Okay, so sharing my screen, display, I guess that's how it's done. Okay, so this is the Patreon, okay? So for as little as $4 per month, and let me see how to see from the public, so you can see everything what's available. For as little as, these are in Canadian dollars, so just bear with me. Let me get back to this question. So first of all, thank you so much for the noise. Oh, another one. Okay, thanks. Okay, so let me see. Thanks so much, Dan Freeman. Thanks so much, Soggy Jungle, and thank you so much, Doug Fuller. And okay, now really quick Patreon. So for $4, as little as $4 per month, you get access to all the footage every single time I'm making an episode. I'm uploading a footage, and because I cannot use, sometimes I have videos which are like 10 minutes long, and obviously I cannot upload the whole entire 10-minute video in my regular Thanks so much, Lisa. Thanks so much for $5. Thanks so much, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And so you get this access to the footage, just $4 per month, as little as $4 per month. I'm uploading on my Patreon every single day. I'm making a video. All the footage that I have throughout the day, I found throughout the day, will be available on this Patreon. All the full footage with the sounds, with the music, if it's like a documentary or anything like this. And this is available, like that's it, it's only one-time payment, $4 per month. You will get access for the entire month to every single footage I upload. And so far we already have 3,509 photos and videos, as you can see. So long story short, as you can see, it's a deal of a century. I would say for $4 you get access to 3,500 footages, photos and videos. So if you want to consider supporting Ukraine, once again supporting the channel, please consider joining the Patreon. The link will be down below in the description. Okay, now let's get back to my face, and now let's start donating. So sorry for shamelessly plugging promotion, and now let's donate some money. Okay, so hopefully I'm showing myself right now. So yeah, it's gonna be awkward silence right now, so just bear with me. I will give money, transfer money to my Ukrainian cousin, show you the confirmation page, then couple more questions, and then we're gonna enjoy the rest of our Sundays. How about that? Okay, so just talk about anything you want right now in the chat, and then we're gonna be back. So this is what I say about being cringe, because as soon I cannot focus on one thing, do one thing and then speak, because it makes me completely thrown off. Just give me 5 seconds, I mean 1 minute, and then we're gonna be back. Okay, I am showing myself right now, but you cannot see this. Yes, you cannot see this. Okay, so yeah, hopefully whenever I'm back, at least 20 of you will be still watching, because no one likes this whenever I'm donating money, because I cannot speak. So bad. Okay, so let's see. Send money. Repeat transfer. This is this. Okay, so we cannot send more than 1,000 because it says that we need to temporarily limit the amount of money. Okay, just let's send 1,000, yeah. More than 1,000, and it says that we are temporarily limiting how much Ukrainian hryvnias you can convert. Okay, let's start with 1,000 then. Okay, I pressed it here. Now it's loading, just to give you an update. And yeah, oh, by the way, perfect. YouTube was giving me like, hey, you can put your advertisement right now, something like this. So let's see what it means, because right now it's silent. Right now I'm not speaking or I'm saying some nonsense. So let's see what these YouTube ads during live streams do. Maybe it's gonna be some interactive ones, maybe it's gonna be some cool one. So let me press this button really quick right now. Okay, not sure what's gonna happen when I press it. Let me know in the comments what do you think right now, what do you see right now on the screen. Can you still see me? It's the first time I'm doing this. I have no idea what's happening right now, so just let me know what's happening. Thanks so much, Granny's 2 cents for $50. So Kevin says it's Mazda advertisement. Okay. Okay, let's see now. Huh? Uh-huh. You have them as well? Okay. Let me know when it's me again on the screen. Huh? That's it? Okay. Okay, so looks like advertisements are over now, and I'm almost done. I think it's perfect time to insert advertisements because I'm going to be doing this transfer. And while you're watching the advertisement, you don't need to watch, you can close your eyes. Honestly, every single time I do this, I just close my eyes like this. Okay, and that's it. Perfect. In the meantime, while you're back, the transfer is initiated, the transfer has started. So I'll just show you right now the confirmation screen. And that's it. Pretty much some final questions and we're Gucci and we're good to go. Discord gang, by the way, if you want to join Discord, it's incredible. This is where you know whenever a video is uploaded, you know it immediately. And so if you want to be the first ones in the comments, go ahead and join Discord. In Discord, we also share some additional news articles, some pictures and videos, additional footage. Every single useful link you found will be down in the description. Discord, Instagram, follow me on Instagram as well. Very cool. I did 2 stories today on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram if you want to see some live from Canada. And everything else, Patreon, channel memberships, everything will be found in the description. Okay, and now I'm showing the confirmation page, which is right here. I have get PDF receipt. It is right here, and no, this does include some information. Okay, I guess that's it. This one is good to share. Okay, so I'm sharing the screen right now. A couple more questions, and we're good. Here we go. 1,000, just trying to be accountable. I know you guys trust me, but I just want to be accountable because some people do ask me, like, hey, did you actually do it? What if you just took money for yourself? I mean, no, why would I take it? Like, I have way more than enough money. It's much better to share this money to some people who actually need it. But yeah, once again, some people ask it, so it's just for those people who ask if I actually donate money. Yeah, yes, I do. Okay, and that's it. Let's couple more last questions. Yeah, people are leaving. This is the worst type of the worst part of this live stream. Everyone is leaving during this part, like 30% left. So sorry about that, but that's pretty much close to the end of the live stream at this point anyways. So let's see, I saw $50, we Gucci, exactly, as your jester. So I saw $50 from Granny's 2 cents. So thanks so much, Granny's 2 cents. It was during the advertisement part, so not sure if you heard it, but once again, thanks so much, Granny's 2 cents. Okay, so yeah, make sure to click the like button, make sure to subscribe to the channel, all useful links in the description. Couple more questions. Now go ahead. If you want, either you can do it through super thank you, which is like donating money, and then this message is highlighted to me. Or you can become a channel member and channel member messages are always highlighted. Or you can put @TheRussianDude, and then it's the third way how for you to highlight your message, so it's easier for me to see it. Okay, so let's see. Please move camera a little bit more level. Okay, so I'll do it next time. Right now, I guess it's a little bit like we're about to finish, but thank you for the feedback, Andrew Petri. Next time I will try to make, it's just experimenting. I'm just experimenting with the different angles. So next time I'll try to find a better angle for my camera. Okay, and then m.k.e.h-k. Do you think that the protests in Russia will go anywhere? So I was already talking about this. Unfortunately, the mindset of Russians is like, yeah, like protests, like, yeah, it's cool. Some people are protesting, but I'm not gonna go there myself because what am I gonna do there? I'm gonna just get taken to the police station. We're not gonna achieve anything. So unfortunately, that's the mindset in Russia. So most likely, unless it's something really bad is happening, so with whatever attitude we're having right now, most likely nothing unfortunately is gonna change. And then we have the question from the Mind Games. What do you think about the new troops in Belarus? So these troops are trying to be the ones who will maybe, and pretty good probability, good chance if something goes really bad for Russia, to invade from the north. So these are the troops, the ones you should be approaching from Kiev and Chernihiv regions, and they will try to move towards to Kiev to take out the political leadership, as they say. But once again, if they were not able to do it in the first 3 days, whenever they try to take Kiev in 3 days, most certainly it's not gonna happen now, because Ukraine is much more defensive right now, much more protected, much more prepared. And now let's see. Okay, let's see. Scott Radetsky, the channel member, who is saying, I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see any ads. Well, good for you, Scott Radetsky. Well, you, thanks so much for being the channel member, first of all. Thanks so much, Scott. And this is, by the way, here you go. The message of the channel member just got highlighted for me, so easy to see. So yeah, and then the next question. Let's see if there are any more questions. This is the personal question revealing my position, so for the security reasons, I will try not to answer this, but thanks so much for your question, CC. But yeah, and then Henry M, we're not saying bye yet, but we're gonna be saying very soon. Okay, so okay, m.k.e.h-k, saying that that's what they don't realize, they have to fight. Also, you can just call me MK. Okay, MK, well, I already called your full name, but next time I'll call you MK. So yes. Perfect question from Dan Freeman. Are you good at hockey? Just trying to lighten it up. But didn't you go to Florida Panthers training camp? I did not go to Florida Panthers training camp. I guess I wanted to. I won't be able to, but I guess I want to. Why not? I'm decent. I'm in the beer league. I would say, yeah, maybe I'm like, in some times I'm above average. In some games I'm below average if I eat some spicy food before the game. So far, yeah, the main thing, it's not professional, it's just a hobby. It's like, you know, I'm going on one night per week and just go play hockey, chill with the buddies, chill with the friends. We have some beers in the locker room after the game. It's just a hobby, just like this. So it's no, it is competitive, but it's not like the championship, the tournament of our lives. It's just having fun. It's just one of the ways of spending one of your nights, and it feels incredible. So in this case, yeah, I'm decent in hockey, but I love hockey even more. Okay, so, and then Roger Runs, Russian dude does real news. Thank you for supporting. And on this note, thanks so much, Roger Runs. Sounds like a very cool ending to make an end here. So thanks so much everyone for joining. Thanks so much for your contribution. Thanks so much for your donations. Thanks so much for your support. If you have any, if you are willing to support the channel, if you're willing to support Ukraine, all the useful links will be down below in the description. PayPal, Patreon, Instagram, Discord, channel membership. All these things you can find down below in the description under this live stream or in any future videos I'm making. Every single useful link will be found down in the description. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for your questions. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks so much for keeping it alive with, once again, your questions. Thanks so much for joining. And now I'm only wishing you to enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Thanks so much for joining, and see you basically tomorrow. Russian dude.